Welcome back to the Candy Colored Studio. I'm artist Katrina Berg, and this is episode 244. Well, happy November, friend. So let's start with some gratitude. So I'm really, really enjoying the holiday music. I don't know about you, but I get a little crazy about Christmas music about this time of year, and I'll tell you some of my favorite things that I'm listening to. So I found this awesome Spotify playlist that somebody started at least last year because they're compiling all the like new Christmas albums. And so I found a bunch from 23, but then I wanted to share with you some of my favorites that I saw from 24. So Lauve has a like 5-song Christmas album. It's called A Very Lauve. I hope I'm saying it right, holiday. And so that's brand new. And then Lauren Daigle, I'm hoping I'm saying her name right. It's called Behold. And yeah, so that one's actually from 23. But Leah Salonga, she's got a jazz one called Sounding Joy. But anyways, there's tons and tons of new albums, country, jazz, classic, contemporary. There were like compilations, all the new albums like they had in there. So there were like hundreds and hundreds of fun new Christmas songs. Another one of my favorite things around this time of year, I love the Chosen Christmas specials. I've talked about it here on the podcast before, but the singers that participate, the musicians that participate in those are so good. And so I would say definitely go check out their albums, whether they're new or old or whatever. Good Christmas music. So that's kind of what I'm grateful for. We started decorating. You'll see behind me, one of the paintings has like the cutest little strand of ornaments. So because our floors are all concrete, like I'm really careful about what I put on the tree. So anything special, I literally have been hanging them on the wall ever since the kids were little. Even before we had concrete floors, I did that. And then, of course, the concrete floors, like it's just too scary to hang things on the tree. We've had multiple trees get pulled over by the twins or the kids or whatever, just touching and pulling. And next thing you know, it's like coming over on top of the toddler. One of my favorite Christmas just funny stories is just the things that happen with the Christmas trees. But I had the most beautiful just a bride. Well, it was like a wedding gift that my cute friend gave me back in the day. Um, let's see if I can find. I took a screenshot. It's called like a bride. What did they call it? Like a bridal. Oh, let's see. I took a picture last night when we were unpacking. So we did decorate the tree, which was really special. But my sweet friend Rebecca Norman, what is her married name? It'll come to me. But anyways, Rebecca gave this to me and it's called the Bride's Tree Ornament Collection. And it's an old German tradition. They they like to give the couple, they say a couple's Christmas tree should always include these 12 ornaments to ensure happiness for their lives together. So, an angel to represent God's guidance, a house for protection, a rabbit for hope, a teapot for hospitality, a bird for joy, rose for affection, a fruit basket for generosity, fish for Christ's blessing, pine cone for fruitfulness, Santa for goodwill, flower basket for good wishes, and then a heart for true love. And I'm telling you, like, I've received some really special things from our wedding, but that was like one of the things I treasure the most. And then another special friend, Laura Miller Johnson, that's her very name. She gave us the most beautiful bauble. It's like already hanging in the dining room. This hand blown glass bauble. And of course, it's like some of my favorite colors, corals, and it's got all these swirls. Anyways, it's like so beautiful. And she gave that to us for our wedding present. Anyways, like such a great gift. So, anyways, really fun things. But yeah, so I wanted to share with you about that bride's gift because I always like every year I pull it out and I'm just so grateful for Rebecca and just beautiful people in my life. So there you go. Manifesting. So I am manifesting. I haven't done a podcast since the election, but I am manifesting love, healing, unity, and also just enlightening for our nation and our world. And I feel like most people are either really happy or really sad about the election. And the more that I talk to people, I just really strongly think that it doesn't matter who you voted for as long as you feel like you need to vote for who you feel good about. And I know some people voted because they love their neighbors or they're really concerned about injustices in the world, and other people voted based on their freedoms or their desires for our country in a different way. And so I would just say, like, I see your hearts and I know God sees your heart, and that whatever it is that you chose, if you followed your heart, like, well done. Like, this is hard. It's hard to make these choices. And so I just hope that we can love one another and move forward together. And I know there's been lots of people talking about stuff on social media. I think today's the first day that I opened up Instagram and didn't see a bunch of really um, I don't know, politically driven posts, which is awesome. I mean, I think it's important to just like continue to learn and grow and love each other. And that's what I'm manifesting. So whatever you whoever you voted for, just know that you're loved. Okay, studio update. So it's exciting. So November is the anniversary of the Candy Colored Studio podcast. So it's been 6 years of the Candy Colored Studio podcast. And it's also an anniversary, a 20-year anniversary of just my studio. And long before we called it the Candy Colored Studio, about fall 20 years ago, this time of year, beautiful Suzette Gertch invited me to participate in my very first art show with the Midway Art Association. So that was 20 years ago. Is that crazy? So crazy. I've learned so much. And I just think about those very first paintings that I took to that show. And I remember driving to Park City, trying to find frames for these pieces. And I should pull out some of them. Maybe I'll pull it out for my next episode. But I was really interested in stained glass. And you can see that I'm still interested in that with my process and my style now. But I had this stained glass book that I love the images. And so I would paint those images. And so that was like my very first series. Those were some of my very first oil paintings. I didn't start painting in oils till about 2005. I did some watercolor before that, but it wasn't until 20 years ago that I started doing oil. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, so 20 years. Pretty exciting. Pretty exciting stuff. Other things happening in the studio this week. The big, beautiful floral behind me is going to get installed next week. And I'm super excited for that family and just the home that they're moving into. And just hope it'll be a place of healing and joy and inspiration and comfort and all those exciting things. So we're excited to do that. So hopefully for the next episode, I can show you some pictures and videos of behind the scenes. It's always an event to get these things hung, and I I'm a little sad that Carson's not going to be here because he's such a good help. Like he's helped do so much with my art, and so it's been amazing. But of course, we'll have Carl and Todd and I will be working together, so that'll be fun. Okay, other things, of course, the spiritual and religious show at the Springville Art Museum is going on right now, and I have a big floral with birds in that show. And yeah, so maybe I'll show you some pictures of that in the next episode as well, of it installed in the Springville Museum. Okay, so another thing is, of course, my little mini Christmas collection is available. There's three pieces at La Petite Maison Antique. In fact, let me just share this. I saved a little video that I could show you. How do I do that? Share screen. Okay, we're gonna do this one. Okay, so yeah, this fun.
It would be
nice
nice to hide from the cold.
Because we know that TubeU is going to get upset. Oh, there we go. You can look at it. Okay, so there's 5 pieces in the collection. 3 of them are at La Petite Maison, and that is in Draper. And then 2 of them were on my website. One sold, and so there is still one available. In fact, I'll show you which one it is after this little video finishes playing. But yeah, La Petite Maison. They have gorgeous French antiques and all kinds of wonderfulness. In fact, here, I'll just show you that. Hopefully that is working for you. Let's see. Do I have to push play on that? This was a video that they did. Let me see if it'll work. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, their shop looks so amazing this year. It's got this beautiful Alsace, just village theme, very French, wonderful stuff. So that's what's happening. La Petite Maison. So definitely check them out. And of course, if you're not local, just direct message them on Instagram. I'm sharing, it's La Petite Maison Utah. If you want to go find them on Instagram, and you can just direct message them, and then they will tell you which pieces are still available. Anyways, so there you go for that. And then, oh, I was going to show you this. This is the one that I still have in my studio. It's the cute little nutcracker in teal. He's very fun. He's like maybe 6 by 8. I can't remember the exact size, but it's on my website, just on the main page. When you just go to katrinaberg.com, just scroll down a tiny bit and you'll see it. So that's available. I've got some little commissions I'm still wrapping up, and then I've got another big one that I'm going to get started on. And so I'm excited to share those with you. Those will be a lot of fun. Okay, let's talk about grief strategies. So, I don't want to cry, but my sweet neighbor passed away recently, and he was like the best. He was the angel of the neighborhood. He would sit on his porch and watch out for the kids. And he had suffered, I want to say, like a major stroke later in life. And so he couldn't communicate very well, but somehow we just managed to communicate despite all odds. But he was so sweet. The kids would stop by and chat with him and sit on his porch and visit with him and his little dog. Anyways, he was just always looking out for all the kids. Like I said, an angel over the neighborhood. So we're really sad to see him go, but at the same time I'm happy for him because I know he struggled a lot with his health. And so in a way, this is kind of a godsend. So I was thinking about him, and something that we did, I immediately reached out to his wife. She also has health problems, and so they weren't living together, and um, she was going for a treatment. Anyways, I asked her specifically what we could do to help, and she was really great because she actually asked for us to keep an eye on the house. And so I just thought that was really good. And then she gave me her son's number, who also lives nearby, who I didn't have his number, but I'd met him several times. And I asked if we could bring some dinner over, some food over. Anyways, so I guess the strategy that I would suggest is have something specific that you can offer to people, a way that you know that you can help, and then ask like specifically what we can do. And that's I don't know. It's just this is hard stuff, and yet I was so grateful that Nancy was willing to ask us to do something specific, and then so much love to them. So grief strategy. There you go. Okay, let's talk about a red pill. So this is kind of a crazy one, but there was an NHS study recently done. That's obviously Great Britain's National Health Services. I think my sister actually works, well, she used to work for the NHS. I don't know if she still works for them now. But anyways, they did a study recently on 1.7 million children. And what they found was that children with myocarditis and pericarditis only appeared in children who had received the COVID mRNA vaccines. Again, I'm just going to leave that there. It's a red pill. It's something that you can go research and study for yourself. They didn't find one child that had myocarditis or pericarditis that had not received that COVID mRNA vaccine. So, again, red pill. Okay, opportunities for collectors and artists. So I mentioned last episode that the Utah Masters Fine Art Tour is coming up. It's actually going to be this Saturday, and I wanted to share with you. I guess they have 3 new artists that they added to the bunch. So I'm just going to pull up their website one more time and share that with you. But I'll just read to you who got added. So Rose Daytalk Doll, who is an absolutely incredible artist, Leroy Transfield, the sculptor, and then who else? Oh, Nicole Parrish, who is a beautiful kind of still life I don't know, naturalist painter. Anyways, really good stuff. So it looks like now there are 21 artists. And again, these are all artists in Utah County. But yeah, definitely check them out. And I'll link to their website again. And then obviously, we've got markets, lots of markets ready to go. I listed a bunch of them last podcast, but keep an eye out for those. And then I wanted to share with you my darling friend, Lindsay Aaron. She just had a show I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and I got to go to her opening, and that was so amazing. We've been friends on Instagram forever and had never met in real life, and that was awesome. She's just such a beautiful person, artist, like everything. And yeah, I just really enjoyed getting to see her work in person and spend a little bit of time with her. So I'm just sharing one of her little invites right now. But yeah, you can go to Park City Fine Art and look at the works that are still available. There are several galleries associated with this group. And so you'll just kind of have to, I don't know, go to Park City, check it out. There's a lot of really great shows right now in Park City. There's always great shows and awesome galleries in Park City. But yeah, Park City Fine Art is one of them. Pando's associated with them. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them. But yeah, so she does amazing portraits and florals, symbolic. I mean, obviously, I like all those things, but she's really talented and it was so fun to be with her. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. And then I'm going to show you what this is her invite. It's that famous love statue that's in Philly. And then she's got florals on it. And then it says, breathe, believe, bloom, become. We are divinely designed to bloom, grow, and experience love. There's nothing more important, more prevailing, more healing than the lifting power, beauty, and balm of love. Anyways, she's a beautiful, beautiful artist and person. I'm telling you, she's amazing. So I wanted to share that with you. And then let's see. Let's jump into our topic. So recently a friend asked me she's like, I painted a painting and I was like, she just talked about how much she enjoyed it and she was in the groove and she just wanted to know what resources because she knows I'm self-taught. So I was thinking about it and I thought, okay, the resources that I have are good for anyone, whether you are trying to take your art career to the next level or you're just getting started. As I wrote down the resources, they were the same, which is interesting, right? So for you, for your creative loved one in your life, I'm going to share some. The first 7 I want to share are kind of like they're fundamental tools that are less obvious resources, right? So when I saw this friend, we were just like quickly, passing. We saw each other, and I'm like, the number one resource has always been for me has been God. And so that would be one of those less obvious resources, I would say, is choose to partner with God and go deep. So, whether you are starting out or whether you've been doing this for a while, just reconnecting with God and seeing what you can do to create with God, I think they will be your greatest resource, whether getting started or taking your artwork to the next level. Okay, number two. Number two thing is to do the work. Again, whether you're starting, the key is to start. And it's the most important part of being an artist is to start and then just to get in there and do the work and to put in the time. A lot of times people ask me, I shouldn't say a lot of times, this happens like all the time. It's like weekly, daily. This is like the number one question. How long did it take for you to paint this? Or how long will it take you to paint this piece? And I always tell them, but at the same time, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it's taken me 20 years plus whatever time it takes to do this piece. So, for example, the big one behind me, I think it took about 6 weeks. So, I would say 20 years plus 6 weeks because that's really how long it takes. It took me that long to kind of figure out my style, my process, my purpose, my why, all those wonderful things. But again, you have to start. And if you are, I don't know, I would say Number 3 is to commit or recommit. So commit to do the work or recommit. And so when we recommit, it's kind of like, okay, here I am in this particular place in my career, and I just need to like find a new way to commit to my process, to my schedule, whatever it is. And that kind of leads us to number 4 is to take the time to make time or take the time, schedule time to create, right? So if you are just getting started, then absolutely schedule it in. For me, when my kids were little, it was nap time, it was bedtime before I went to bed. Like those were the times that I painted, and there it wasn't a whole lot of time, but it was enough. You add up all those times and all those pieces, all those moments, it really adds up to those 20 years and 6 weeks, right? And so I think that's super important. So again, there's so many things that you can do to be more productive. And so if you're one of those people that want to take your career to the next level, I'd say look at your schedule and really go deep. Like, what is it that I'm doing that's working, that's giving me time to create? And what is it that I need to do to give myself more time to create? Who do I need to ask for help? There's lots of things you can do. So that would be number 4. Number 5 is a studio space. Everybody needs a place to create. Now, when my kids were little, it was usually like a box. I had like a box of stuff. And then when they went to bed at night, I would pull it out, put it on the kitchen table and paint. And then I would hang it up on the wall before I went to bed so that when they came home, and they were always up high, so they could never touch them, but they were up there safely drying. And then I would stick that box, that wonderful box, back in the garage until the next day. And there's been lots of different studio spaces. Obviously, I've painted in several kitchens. I've painted in my living room. I've painted in a like designated studio, but there's lots of things. And so if you are just getting started, just give yourself a place that you can create. And if you have an extra room and a door, that is so ideal, especially when you're just getting started, because I think that a lot of times if it's too put away, you won't go do it. So if you can leave it out and just shut the door until it's safe for you to go in there and create again, then I think it'll be less of a, I don't know, a deterrent or a obstacle. Because a lot of times one of the hardest things about pursuing or developing these talents that we have is that we give ourselves excuses for not doing it. Oh, I don't want to do it because I don't have enough time to get everything out. So if you can have a little place, a closet, whatever, with a door on it, where you can just leave everything there, even if it's your laundry room. I have a couple friends whose studios are in their laundry room. Um, yeah, just take away the obstacles that are in your path, whether you're a brand new artist or whether you just want to elevate where you're at in your career. Um, yeah. So, and then if you are one of those people trying to take your career to the next level, I'd say you need to really dig deep and evaluate, what do I have in my studio space that's working and what's not working? And can I find a better space? And so that's totally been me. Like these 20 years, I've had so many different studio spaces. I think one of my very first studio spaces was before we got married, and it was under my bed. I was single, and I had built this bed on big, like, I don't know, 4x4s, 6x6s, 4x4s. They're probably 4x4 beams. And so I put them up pretty high. And so my bed was almost like it was a bunk bed or a loft bed. And then underneath, I had a dresser and just an open space. And I would sit under there and sketch and watercolor, just kind of like my own little cave studio. And so, again, just find what works. Yeah. Anyways, that's number 6. Number 7 of these kind of like non-traditional resources, I would say, is figuring out your process or style. When you're figuring out your process or style, again, the key is to just keep doing it. But for me, I feel like the best thing that's helped me the most is just to work in series. So sometimes the key was to do small things because then I could work on the same idea over and over, just change the composition, change the color scheme. But series are super helpful with that. And then I would say in the beginning, what I did was I painted a lot of things that inspired me. Anything that inspired me, I painted it, whether it was the old barns and the old homes in this valley, or whether it was like the stained glass and fun things like that. But then later I painted things to give away as gifts. And I did that for a long time until people started like commissioning me to paint things for people. And so that was really fun. So that would be number 7. And then if you are trying to take your career to the next level, I would say, again, look to God and ask God, like, what can I do to take my process or style to the next level? Also, do the things that inspire you so that you can figure out what, is going to help you in the next thing. But yeah, just really focusing on that will help you come up with a new process or a tweak to your process or a tweak to your latest series. But yeah, I think that'll help a ton. Okay, let's talk about like typical resources. I've got 10 for you. So the first one is to get inspired. And so I would say, like, just go get a magazine. They're not very expensive. It's not a big commitment. One that I really like are the Stampington magazines. They have In Her Studio, In Her Garden, Somerset Studio. Maybe you've seen them at the store. They're really great. And so I would say check out, there's also other art magazines like Southwest Art Magazine. There's obviously home magazines that you'll find inspiration in art from time to time. There's, Utah Style and Design. There's all kinds of things where you can get inspired and have that help you work, just to figure out what it is that you want to do, whether it's to start or to start things moving in a new direction. And so Stampington is doing a giveaway right now, and it's called their Give Thanks giveaway. And I will put a link in the show notes where you can go apply or whatever, enter the giveaway. So they'll be in the show notes. Check that out. But they're giving away like 20 free subscriptions for this coming year. And so that's a really awesome giveaway. And that'll help you get inspired. Number 2 is to visit local museums and galleries. Absolutely. This was something that Carl and I did a lot when I was just getting started. We would go to Park City all the time and do the stroll, which I can't remember which week it is, but most areas, like for example, Salt Lake has a gallery stroll, Provo has a gallery stroll. I want to say Park City is like the third week, but I could be wrong. And I think Provo is the first week, and it's like first Friday. And so maybe Park City is the third Friday. I can't totally remember. But again, go take time to go to these events and also the museums. Springville Museum has their spiritual and religious show up right now. You can see so many different Utah artists and styles. Like, it's amazing. And they have other incredible shows that are going all the time. I guess they're redoing something in the basement. That's going to be exciting. But they have the $100 show coming up. And so I would definitely say if you're one of those artists that are just getting started or you want to take your art to the next level, go to some of these museums and galleries and check out what other people are doing to help you kind of take your art to the next level or just get started. Okay, so the next one would be to go to other local events. So markets, fairs, shows. So obviously there's a lot of great markets. I'll link to some of them. The Utah Art Market, the Beehive Bazaar, those are two of my favorites that go, I think they're quarterly that you'll see them. And these are just pop-up markets. You can go and check them out. You can participate. If you've been doing art for a while and you're kind of in a rut and you feel like you need to get back in the art scene, the market is the perfect way to get back in the art scene. It's a low commitment. Most of the time, the owners take less than 50%. So as a rule, most galleries take 50%. There's a few that take 40, but that's pretty standard. And then when it comes to markets, it's normal for them to take only 20% to 40%. And so that's something that's really good for artists wanting to up level or just to get started. So I would say markets. And then of course there's art fairs and shows, all kinds of fun things. But go and be part of the art scene, make friends, get to know people in the art world, and that will just help you have a better idea of what you can do to start or just to level up. So number 4 would be to follow artists on social media. Absolutely. And I would add galleries and museums. Totally go follow some new people. And again, this is great for people starting out, but if you are needing some new, like something fresh to kind of like ignite you, go find some new artists, go get a new art book. But again, follow people on social media. Number 5 is similar. Go subscribe to artists, galleries, and museums. Get to their email lists. And that will totally help you kind of see what's happening in your local art scene, like nationally, whatever, whoever it is that you're subscribing to. But that will give you a lot of just like resources and also just help you inspire you to do something new. So that's number 5. Number 6, I see artists doing this all the time, and it's something that I did a lot in the beginning, and that is to copy or to learn from and create based on things that other artists are doing. So you'll see like master copies a lot on Instagram. I have a lot of artist friends that do that, but you can also just take classes from other artists. They can be local artists that are in person. Sometimes they're only 1 or 2 days. So the Midway Art Association will do these events. They just had the fall one, but you can actually take specific workshops from artists. And I think it's not like it's all day. You can just sign up to go to some, and maybe it's just a couple hours. But then there's Emily Fox King. She'll do workshops, and Nancy Androck Olson also does workshops, and those are usually just a couple hours. And so those are local ones that you can go do. But then if you're like I was and you have a lot of little kids, or it's not really an option for you because your available time is at night, then I would say go check online. There's online workshops. There's also great videos that you can watch on YouTube and other sites that are pretty easy to find. So I would say that's number 6, is to copy, learn, and create from other artists. Number 7 is to join a local group. So obviously, I mentioned how my very first art show was thanks to the Midway Art Association, aka Suzette Gertsch. Like, I don't even know if they were official. That may have been one of the first things that they did. This is before the plein air. And it was kind of like a holiday show. But yeah, the Midway Art Association, they're awesome. They have demonstrations every month that you can go to as a member. And then also they've got the plein air event that's every summer, but then there's the fall one. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that they're always doing. And they have lots of connections with artists and tell you about workshops that you can sign up. That's kind of a normal thing. Another thing that's cool about them is they have their own gallery. So like on Main Street here in Midway, you can participate and either go and enjoy the art, or you can be an artist in the gallery. And that's just kind of I think they do that as a monthly thing that they trade out the art. And so that's really cool. So yeah, so many great things can happen with local groups. When I was just getting started, I was part of the Art Association, but I was also a part of the Park City Professional Artists Association. And that was amazing too. So if you check it out, I'm sure there's a local one for you. And then again, if you're like wanting to take your art to the next level and you've been hibernating and kind of hermiting like me, and you need to get back out there, a local group is a great place to start. Springville Art Museum just had their artist roundtable, I think last week. And that's something that they do, I think it's twice a year now. And that's something that you can participate in. It's a free event. You can go and learn from artists and also gallery, museum curators, like all the professionals in the community. They come and present on different topics. And so to be a part of that, I would say just get on Springville Art Museum, and there you just want to be on their artist email list. And if you can't find it, just call the museum and tell them to add you, and they'll add you, and they'll let you know when the Business of Art Roundtable is going to be. Is that what it's called? It's just called Artist Roundtable. Anyways, awesome. That's an awesome program. And I'm sure there's programs like that wherever you are. Again, it's great for people just starting, but it's really great if you just want to elevate yourself. So that's number 7. Number 8 is to read books. Read books by artists and creatives about their style, their process, their business, like all kinds of stuff. Like, it's helped me so much. In fact, I'll show you on my website. Let's see if I can. I'm going to share the screen one more time. Screen. We're going to do this one. Okay, so on my website, if you go to the About tab and you click on About, and then you look, there is a tab called Resources. And in under that thing, it says Art and Business Books, Art Classes, Materials, and Shop Info. So there's all kinds of resources that I have kind of stashed on the website. But if you click on the Art and Business Books, you come to this page, and these are 9 books that have helped me a ton. So there's this awesome one, Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo. Number 2 is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, and this is kind of a mindset book. The first one is all kinds of stuff, also mindset. And then this one was super helpful impactful to me, Starving to Successful by Jason Juarez. And he's that gallery owner down in, he's got Xanadu Gallery. I think it's in, uh, anyways, it's Arizona, Northern Arizona. Starts with the S. It's not coming to me, but anyways, he's amazing. I talked about him the last episode. Starving to Successful. Great, great book. And then there is, let's see, number 4, Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. Number 5, this was a really good one. Easy read, quick read. Art Inc. by Lisa Congdon. She's an amazing artist, illustrator, really great things in there. I took an online course from her about just like scheduling and being better with your time as an artist, and she's wonderful. Lisa Congdon. Okay, number 6 is How to Sell Art. This is kind of the second book by Jason Juarez. So after you're not starving. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, those 2 books are excellent. The second one's about how to sell art. Then number 7, Rainmaking by Ford Harding. This is a really good one. When you get a little bit further in your career, or if you haven't been selling lately, go back to the basics. Learn from people who are really good at marketing and sales. Number 8, How to Price Digital Fine Art Prints by Barney Davy. Another really great one. Number 9, The 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss. And that's a really good one. Again, just to help you just kind of, it's really hard as artists. It's really hard for us to just to focus on things that really matter most, right? So I would say that yeah, if he could figure out how to have a career with 4 hours, I think we as artists could also learn some of these tools, resources so that we can be better with our time. We can do the things we really want to do and be more effective, right? Okay, so number 10 is to listen to art podcasts. So, yeah, obviously, I've got 6 years of podcasting under my belt. And a lot of the reasons why I did the podcast was because I wanted to support artists and to support women. Those were kind of my main goals when I got started. And so, there's a lot of like nitty gritty about things that really helped me in the beginning, but I've just been sharing stuff all throughout that helps me. And so again, there's 244 episodes. So I'm sure whatever it is that you're looking for, just go through and scroll down. You can see I'm sharing on here. You can just look at the title and see what's going to be in it. But yeah, so I would say that the top maybe 3 art podcasts that I listen to right now are Art Juice, and it's these 2 cute ladies in England. And then there's Artist Soar, which are my 3 friends in Alabama. And then Creative Heroine is my dear friend in Pennsylvania. And so these 3 podcasts are amazing. They're all specifically for artists, and they talk about everything from business to process to style to mindset, like all the things. In fact, on my website, you'll also find about in the 200s, maybe early 200s. We started doing these pod sister. Oh, what do we call them? Pod sister. Oh, I can't remember what they're called. We called them Pod Sister something. Oh, panels, Pod Sister panels. So those Jessica Libor of the Creative Heroine and then the Artist Soar ladies in Alabama. The 5 of us would get together. We have a topic and then we talk about it. And so there's some on my podcast, but if you go on there, you'll also see podcast like pod sister panels, and it's all of us talking about a specific topic, and it's really great. Those are awesome. And then also in my podcast you'll find quite a few artist interviews, and those are helpful, but also the creatives, the writers, the entrepreneurs. I've got quite a few interviews that are super helpful, and you'll find all kinds of resources and tools in those as well. I'm going to share with you, let's see, I've got 1 2 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 9 episodes that I think would also be good follow-up episodes, and I'll link to them in the show notes. So number 4, what I give up to paint. So I talk about just the choices that I make, my time management, just how I get in the studio and get creating. Number 6 is the kiddos in the studio, my studio assistant. So this is obviously 2018. My kids were a lot younger. You can hear what we were doing in the studio right then for them to to help me and participate and like, just to include them in my studio. Number 9, episode 9 is kind of about being a team as a family and creating space for everybody's passions. And so that's a really great episode. Number 11, I had an artist reach out and she had a lot of questions. So it's called So You Want to Make Art. And so I'm just answering her questions. That's number 11. Number 16 is a different artist. She sent me a whole list of questions, so many questions that I split it into 2 parts. The first part is like just a lot of general art making questions. And the second one, so the first one is episode 16. The next one is episode 20, and it's called Art Making Questions Part 2, but it's all about money and business. So those are some 3 really good ones, like specific questions from artists that are just getting started or somewhere towards the beginning of their career. But again, these are like the principles in all of these things we've talked about are good no matter where you are in your career. Number 111, oh, that's another one where I had an artist asking me questions. So, 5 ways to get started in art is the name of episode 111. And then 2 more episodes for you. Number 224 is creating an art studio you never want to leave. So that's a fun one. Episode 237 is where to buy art materials in bulk. And so, we talk a lot about where to buy them, but also specifically where to buy them in bulk because it's expensive. And then you'll find all throughout my podcast, there's episodes about marketing, email lists, how to apply to art shows, how to get into markets, just obviously the interviews, how to be better with your marketing and getting sales and talk to collectors, how to like what to have on your website, social media, commissions, artist burnout, productivity, and of course those pod sister panels. There's tons of stuff. Those are just some general things that are on there. But yeah, so many good things. But again, let's go back to number 1. The number one thing that we can be doing is connecting with God. And so as you listen to so many things here today, I would say I hope that don't think that you need to do everything at once, but I would say listen to your heart and God will tell you like the top 3 things that you could start with today, whether to get started or whether to just take your art career to the next level. Your heart is going to tell you. God will work with you and help you know exactly what you can do to bring your art to the next level. So, I don't know. I think, again, as long as we just are always coming back and focusing on Christ and what really matters, then we can take all these tools and start slowly applying them. So, again, this was a big list, but wherever you are in your art journey, I just want you to know that it's such a great thing to be able to create. God created us. They created us with so much love and wisdom and beauty, and they want to be partners in creating with us, whether you're creating within your home, in your families, whether you're creating art or other creative things. Like these are great things to pursue. And I would just encourage you to, again, ask God what your talents are, which ones you should be developing right now, and I know that you will have an amazing journey. So much love to you today from the Candy Colored Studio. Okay. Whew.